has no shortage of claims to fame, but Vic Searcy's chicken sandwich stands out even in a city of best. With locations in University Heights, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, and First Energy Stadium, you'd think Sauce City has been around for decades. On the contrary, Chef Vic launched almost by accident in 2018 when he won a location in the Ohio City Galley. At the time, Searcy was earning advanced degrees in organizational psychology and directing social services activities for a rehabilitation center. But his passion for cooking drove his destiny, and the signature hot sauces he was concocting at Kent State sealed his fate. Only 5 short years from launch, Chef Vic has many claims to fame, selling 2,500 hot chicken sandwiches to MGK for peckish Ohio City residents, to feeding thousands of hungry Cleveland sports fans at 3 stadium locations. It's no wonder Sauce City won the vote for Ohio's #1 chicken sandwich. Today on Small Business Big Conversations, Chef Vic Searcy of Sauce City. Chef Vic.
How you doing, man?
Welcome, my friend. I'm ecstatic to have you here because I have to say, I am a huge fan.
Yes.
Of maybe. I mean, I'm a fan of you. I'll say, but I'm a fan of the sandwich.
Hey, I understand. It's good
more
sound.
than
It's
anything else.
It's the best.
So let's start right there. What is the Sauce the City story? Like, where did the best chicken sandwich anywhere come from?
Well, we got to go all the way back to sophomore year in Kent State University. Kent State University, I did Entrepreneur 101 with Denise Easterling. And from there, my final project was to make a profitable company. So I made Vic Fries. So Vic Fries needed a sauce, right? So I created the very first sauce was the Diete sauce.
Okay.
So I did that, and then I was like, oh, this sauce tastes pretty good. So I started calling people in, letting them taste the sauce. Then I was like, I need to sell this at fairs. So every summer I go to like carnivals, state fairs or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I would sell our sauce, and then that kind of was like the birth of the first actual like Sauce the City. Because my main mission from the beginning sophomore year was to sauce the city. So it just changed a couple cities, but that's about it. And then I got my opportunity to be in Cleveland's first food hall, Ohio City Galley. So I used that signature sauce that I had, and I was able to get a couple placements in a couple local fairs and stores. But I cooked everything that I had with that sauce, and I was able to get a spot in Ohio City Galley. And then from there on out, Cleveland tasted the Cleveland hot chicken, and then it was just over after that.
It's crazy to think that just came out of a school project.
Yes.
In 5th grade, we had to do an entrepreneurial project, but Yum Yum Fun Gum, which my 5th grade marketing brain was not very good at branding yet, didn't make it anywhere. So, but the sauces that came out of Kent State, that's a big deal. So. The sauce then goes on the chicken, and that's what has blown up. So what makes the Cleveland hot chicken sandwich unique?
Okay, what makes it unique is how we make it. All right, so we did some research. I'm a former clinical student, so, I have to do research. So I went into research on what makes Cleveland Cleveland. Mm-hmm. So Cleveland used to be it's like a melting pot. So it was like a miniature New York. So back in the day, a lot of immigrants and different families from all across the country came here because we had rubber factories. So the rubber factories, so I had to look into like who was actually coming here. So we got so many different cultures, from Hungarian cultures, from European cultures, African cultures, Asian cultures, you can name it. Everybody came here, Italian cultures, Irish. So what we did was we gathered as much seasonings and cultures that we can get, and we all put it together. We put it together, and it came out to be this smoky, sweet, not too spicy, not too overpowering seasoning. And so that is our Cleveland hot seasoning. So we actually sell that at the restaurant now. But we brine our chicken, we do our corn, we do virtually everything that comes from that Cleveland hot seasoning. So that's how we came up with the Cleveland hot. So, and then we fed Cleveland back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
So they love it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of ask you, like, the inspiration comes from all the different culture in Cleveland. What other ways do you kind of keep it Cleveland?
I keep it Cleveland by definitely shopping local.
Yeah.
Using purveyors such as Hillcrest, and keeping everything that we get and using local bakers for our desserts. Just using that 12-mile radius to gather all of our produce, all our baking, all of our food. So basically, we keeping it local and keeping the economic, circle strong in Cleveland. And we're in University Heights too now. So we're keeping every community that we're in, we're keeping it local.
I feel like everywhere that I look, there you guys are now. Maybe it's because I'm just looking for it. Maybe I'm already starving right now. So maybe it's just like wherever I am, I'm looking. But I feel like you guys are all over the place. Last time I was at the Cavs game, yes. I was up in Loudville, and I went to the stand there. So talk about your relationship with the sports teams and how you're kind of unconventionally growing into different venues.
Yeah, so when we were on West 25th, we were right on the corner of Detroit and West 25th. So we were kind of like on the verge of downtown, West Side. So we did a lot of catering orders. So the Browns was one of our frequent caterers, the Cavaliers. But we actually were in kind of a competition. It was with the NAACP. They put on a competition, Taste of Black Cleveland. And there we were able to get in front of all the executives. Top executives that work with the Cavs, work with the Browns, Aramark. So we were able to do that competition. So they didn't know we had the best, chicken sandwich. So they put us all the way in the back corner, right? So we was the last competitors. And then when those executives started tasting that chicken, man, we had a whole sheet with like dots. We had so many votes that we needed a new sheet. So it was crazy. So it was like polka dots everywhere. And then from there, I asked for what I want. I believe in that, manifesting what you believe in. And I told him, I was like, hey, we need that Sauce City here. So we actually pulled off the NFL draft when it was here. So the NFL draft All-Star game.
Congratulations, but that's a huge deal. It's a huge deal.
Yeah, we just try to tackle any obstacles or any adversity that comes to us. We try to tackle it.
So people that know Vic, they know him as Chef Vic,
yes.
Right? It's everybody knows Chef Vic. So that's part of it in the culinary pursuits that you're doing in developing the different flavors and the flavor profiles of everything that you're doing. But you're also running a business. Yes. So how do you balance Chef Vic with entrepreneur Vic?
It's very hard. Very hard. So basically, I try to compartmentalize as much as I can. Mm-hmm. I try to keep family here. Try to keep business here, try to keep promotions here as much as I can, but being one person and trying to juggle a lot can be, Wayne, I'm a former, psych major, so I understand stress and self-care is very important for sustainability. But that is definitely one of the hardest things, trying to manage everything. And, I didn't even know I was becoming like, a known person. So I'm just like frying chicken, promoting frying chicken, going out to the sports agency. So it was it's almost like I'm on autopilot, so I'm just on autopilot just to sauce the city of Cleveland.
Well, the only thing that Chef Vic knows more than chicken maybe is people. We're going to talk about what it takes to be a chef and an expert in human behavior when we return. We'll be right back with more Small Business Big Conversations right after this.
My name is Valerie Mayen, and my business is the Yellow Cake Shop Clothing Company. We have been operational since 2009, and I really didn't see some real actual growth until I started working with Jumpstart. When I learned how to actually keep track of my expenses and set actual goals, I was able to discover so much more that I was capable of that I didn't realize.
Jumpstart provides capital, services, and connections to help entrepreneurs grow. Get started today at jumpstartinc.org.
All right, welcome back to Small Business Big Conversations. We are here with Chef Vic from Sauce the City, and I mentioned right before the break that you might know people even more than you know chicken. You are an analytical person. You consider yourself somewhat of a human behavioral expert, I would say. So What does human behavior have to do with chicken sandwiches?
Well, surprisingly, there is a correlation.
Okay.
There is a correlation. So my schooling is, I have a master's in clinical mental health counseling, but my main focus was rational emotive behavioral therapy. So basically, that is a thing.
Everybody knows what that is.
All right.
I'm kidding.
Basically, it's REBT. So basically, instead of giving advice or anything, so basically, it's a theory that gives the person the opportunity to have a set plan of action to resolve their issues. So that's what I incorporate into Sauce the City. I give them a plan to eat our Cleveland hot chicken sandwich, and I reinforce that with quality food, with fast service, with great customer service, with a nostalgic vibe and a nostalgic connection to the city as well, just with those different cultures. So Sauce City is not, I don't think you can, relate us to like a soul food or a barbecue spot or just a chicken spot.
Yeah.
We're kind of encompassing everything in one, and we want to highlight on, the different cultures. Some cultures are more prone to spice. Some cultures are more prone to sweetness. Yeah. And even with people, it's not, so that's why we say this is not your grandma's sauce or your mom's sauce or your dad's sauce or the kid's sauce. Yeah. This is kind of, we're getting sauces for the whole family. So we want to center in on the whole family so everybody can come in and enjoy Sauce the City.
So part of the analytical side of you is experimentation and figuring out, what works and what doesn't, really in all aspects of life. But with respect to your profession, I mean, that's where it comes from, right? You're developing, you're mixing different spices and things like that. Talk about the role of and importance of experimentation in what you're doing from a flavor perspective, but also just in business in general. I know that you guys are always trying different things.
Yeah, so if you have been following Sauce the City or anybody that has visited our West 25th location or our University Heights location, you have been involved in experimentation. We have had, we call it, I don't even have a name for it. Okay. Well, basically, when we want to introduce a new item or a new sauce, we invite random. We were at like 20 to 30. We were on West 20. We had a little bit more space, so we can invite like 50 to 70 people. But this run, we invite like 10 to 15 people out from all different walks of life, from various different cultures, and then we just give them the different options that we have. And then from there, we let them taste it. We don't give them, we don't tell them, like this is better, this is the best, and then we did that same thing with the Cleveland hot chicken sandwich. And then we let people taste it and then give their honest opinion. We want to know what you feel about that. And then from that data that we receive from the customers, then we create our menu. So our whole menu was based on that, that process of gathering data that people like. So you come to Sauce City, it's a low chance that you don't like anything. Like, you're going to love everything because this is what you guys told us is the best. So that's why we are the #1 chicken sandwich in Ohio.
I feel like it's almost kind of like a microbrewery approach where you're like, okay, well, this is this batch we came up with and we had an idea for this sort of thing or whatever. Are there loyal followings to different sauces?
Yeah, man. One guy said we got a cult following because people love our food, and it's because what we do in Sauce City is we buy one time a week for our whole week. And then we just utilize fresh product. Yep. So nothing is getting transferred to the second week or, we use it old, or everything is fresh, everything is local, and you can taste it when you're there. Yeah. Like, you taste our new cheesesteaks. I mean, you're going to taste the ribeye, you're going to taste the rosemary, and then you're going to taste the fresh products getting cooked down. And then when you bite into it, it just changes your life.
I'm dying, man. I'm so hungry now.
Yeah, but I'm just
so
saying,
hungry now.
But that's the science. Yeah, that's the science behind Sauce City. We even take the oil seriously at Sauce City. We have a testing kits for the oil to make sure the oil is at a perfect temperature, to make sure the oil is clean. So it's just like a science behind the madness. And a lot of people just see the outward, Sauce the City, chicken spot, but you can't write us off as chicken spot. This is science.
It's incredible. Like, you talk about all these different processes and the exact ways you have in play. I mean, you know how much I know about making food is like what I saw in the movie Ratatouille, right? But it's like you see like different people, although like say, culinary is the culinary arts, right? Oh, I'll put this in, I'll put that in because I know it's. So for you, is it more of a science? Is there some art? Is it a little bit of both?
It's kind of like 50-50.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So my training was in Darden restaurants. So I worked for Olive Garden for a long time. Just a long time, so basically I was able to see the business side of it. Then I would, behind those closed doors, you could see the culinary side as well. So you saw the chefs being, or the cooks being frustrated, not enjoying what they do. And that surprisingly affects the food as well because they don't pay that much attention. So I make sure my staff is happy. I make sure we doing outings. I make sure that it's a positive outlook. And if you come in with an attitude, you're probably going to go home because I know you're going to probably burn something, so just being that focused. And that's another, when you said about balancing everything. So that's another way that it can be kind of challenging because I am so focused in on the content and the food at the same time, but also making sure the psyche of the staff and the customers are being well maintained as well. So
you mentioned that cult following earlier. You guys had a lot of publicity and made a big splash early on. You had the opportunity to meet with the different sports teams and that sort of thing. Beyond how you balance the art and the science of the food, how do you balance the process and the patience that you need to grow a business? Because you can make a big splash and get big quick, but at the same time, that could be overwhelming for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely overwhelming, especially when the Cavs and the Browns and the restaurant is going crazy at the same time. Yeah. I think that was it was like around Halloween where every stadium we had going and we had the restaurant at the same time. So I felt like, ripping, like I was getting ripped in half. You know what I mean? It was so much. But working with, I have one of my partners, Aaron Hainsworth. He helps out, from time to time. But just the weight of that is just very challenging. So that's why in growing, I feel not the need of holding back when I need to ask for help. So now I feel like we're getting to a point where we need a board, you know what I mean? So we can have different people to bounce ideas off of, and we won't feel, or I love saying we, you know what I mean? And then so I won't feel more obligated to handle every issue, micromanaging.
Yeah, it's really tough when you're, the one in charge of it all, and obviously you're relying on other people for decision making to some extent, especially like around the flavors and your experimentation. That's something that you've built into the process. What do you do when you need a break? How do you I go to the DR, man. I try to get away, man. I'm a big movies guy. Okay. You know what I mean? So you give me a good movie, some nachos, little escapes here and there for a few hours.
It's just the little things, man. Just the little things, just having that time, and that's the part of the self-care. That in psych in clinical school, they basically having self-care, having a space to decompress, having someone or something that you can talk to that kind of reflects some of the issues off, that is very critical. That's very critical to have, especially when you have so much, going on at the same time.
Well, speaking of self-care and you indulging in your favorite things, one of my favorite things is our Fast Five segment, our lightning round, which we're going to do right after this quick break with Vic Searcy from Sauces City. We will be right back.
My name is Christopher Harris. I'm the owner-operator of Black Frog Brewery. We're currently in Toledo, Ohio, with an expansion plan for Cleveland. Black Frog Brewery started out in a garage. So I started out home brewing, actually on a little Mr. Beer kit. And I just fell in love with brewing beer. I would just get up every Sunday morning and I would brew beer. And any home brewer would tell you that you have those dreams of having your own brewery. And so what I did was I converted half my garage into a room, bought me some some pro equipment. When I started, it was only 20 gallons. You really couldn't say that's pro now, but for me, it did what I needed to do, and I started bottling the beer. After I got my state license and my federal license, I bottled the beer and sold it to the Andersons, Churchills, Monettes in 22-ounce bottles. And the fan base grew from there to where I got a small loan from ECDI and opened up in my current location where I'm at now. When I joined the Impact program, I really didn't know what to expect when I started the classes. But what I quickly realized was that it just made me a better business owner. I understand my business on a different level than I did before the Impact program. And just each one of the classes seems like it was tailored to help you in different aspects of your businesses. So from social media to financing to projections. You don't even have to be a struggling small business. I mean, you could probably be a very successful small business. I think you're always gonna have something that you can learn, or there's somebody out there that's gonna know something and can teach you something that you didn't know. And that's what this program does. There's just so much that it just helps you and in that short amount of time that you guys cover, yeah, it was invaluable.
Welcome back to Small Business Big Conversations. I'm joined by Vic Searcy of Sauce City, and we are at about that time for our Fast Five, our lightning round. Vic, here's how this is going to work.
Okay.
You've got 6 questions. Mm-hmm. You have to answer 5 of them. That's non-negotiable, okay? If you answer all 6, you win a prize. And I like them to go kind of along with our guests, so I will find you the second best chicken sandwich in Ohio, and that'll be the prize. If you don't want it, that's fine. I'm so hungry right now after listening to you talk, then I'll eat it for you, okay? All right, number 1, what is the most common myth about running a business?
That is easy. That is easy.
People think that? They're crazy.
Yeah, they think that basically that they can just get it up and running.
Yeah.
But they don't understand like the little things that takes, you know what I mean, about the utilities, the person eating chicken in the back, taking away from the food. Just the little things and balancing work and family. That's what people have to consider, when they get into business. You're a big process guy, so what's a productivity tip or something for your productivity that you can't live without? Whiteboards.
Yeah. Okay.
Whiteboards. I got whiteboards everywhere.
Yeah.
I got whiteboards in my house, whiteboards in my bedroom, whiteboards in my office, whiteboards in my restaurant. So I would definitely say whiteboards.
If you weren't Chef Vic, if you weren't the owner of Sauce City, what would you be?
I would be a clinician.
Yeah.
I'll probably be a licensed therapist, probably marriage, child psychology, or I'll be running nursing homes, being a director of, nursing homes. Probably both.
All right, so you're a big movie guy. They're making a movie about Chef Vic.
Yes.
Who plays you?
Oh, man. Jeez, man. What's his name? Golly, I messed it up. He plays the bald head black guy from what's his name? What's his name? Jeez.
He's not gonna want to play
from the
now
best man, the best man. Morris Chestnut. Chestnut.
Right. I knew we were gonna get there eventually. You might not be allowed to answer this one, but what's your favorite Cleveland sports team?
Oh man, that's deep. Oh man, the Browns.
Okay.
Browns, Cavs. The Browns and Cavs.
And last one, what's your favorite item on your menu?
Well, the favorite item is the number 1 chicken sandwich in Ohio, which is the Cleveland Hot Chicken Sandwich. But my second one is our cheesesteak.
Okay.
Yeah. our ultimate
And
cheesesteak.
that's relatively new, the cheesesteak?
Yeah, it's very new. We did
Okay.
one of those experiments that I told you about.
Yeah.
Where we invited everybody down, and
Yeah.
then we was like, "Do you guys like cheesesteaks?" It was like, "Yeah." So we got 3 of them for you. You know, so we did that. We did the Italian beef. We did a classic. Then we did the classic Philly nacho cheese one.
Yeah.
But we used like a cheddar cheese and not like, you know, a Cheese Whiz. And then the bun, we use a Philly bun straight, and then it's like got the crispy outside and the soft inside. Yeah.
I'm absolutely dying right now.
Yeah,
This
cheesesteaks
sounds so
cheesesteaks
good.
are nice,
It
man.
sounds so good. Chef Vic, this has been fantastic. It's been a pleasure of mine. Like I said, I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
I want to give you the opportunity to plug everything. Where can people get the sandwich? Can they get the cheesesteak? What's going on?
All right, so our main location is in University Heights, 14480 Cedar Road. We're right next to the BP gas station and Jack's Deli, so come and check us out right there in University Heights. Then if you're at the games, if you're at the Browns game, we're on the north and the south club level. Come check that out. Or you guys can head over to Loudville in the Rocket Mortgage Stadium upstairs, and then we're right there in the Budweiser grill area.
Chef Vic from Sauce the City.
Thank
you
you.
so much for hanging out today. I really appreciate
Thank you so much.
it.
I appreciate it.
My guest today has been Chef Vic Searcy of Sauce the City. You can learn more and order your next meal online by visiting saucethecitycleveland.com. Be sure to check out their tasty updates on Instagram at Sauce the City. And thanks again to Vic for joining us today, to the amazing folks at Bar Studios for running everything behind the scenes, to everybody at Jumpstart that makes all this happen, and of course to you for tuning in. I'm Freddie Coffee, and we'll see you next time on Small Business Big Conversations. Take care.